Welcome back to Daily Crypto, episode 20. It's certainly been another eventful period in the crypto sphere, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Lots happening
We've got a lot to unpack for you today.
for sure. From, significant market movements to some pretty intriguing news and developments. There's plenty to delve into. Gives you a real glimpse into the current state of digital assets.
Okay, let's kick things off with a snapshot of where the major players are sitting. Bitcoin, currently trading around $87,393. That's showing a healthy 3.37% increase.
Yeah, decent momentum.
What do you make of this upward momentum? Is there a particular catalyst you're seeing driving this?
Well, this recent climb in Bitcoin could be down to a couple of things. We've seen continued inflows into Bitcoin ETFs, which kind of suggests sustained institutional interest.
Right, the institutions are still buying in.
Exactly. It indicates this growing confidence in Bitcoin's, let's say, long-term value proposition, even with all the talk around potential shifts in Fed policy.
That makes sense. And Ethereum is also in the green, up by 3.27% to $1,643.26. We've also got BNB, Solana, and XRP all showing positive movement. BNB is at $603.87. That's up 1.80%. Solana at $140.27, a more modest rise, 0.74%.
Still up, though.
Still up, yeah. And XRP has seen a notable jump, actually, 3.42% to $2.13. Seems like a generally positive trend across the board for the majors, wouldn't you say?
Yes, this broad positive movement often reflects an overall optimistic sentiment in the market. But it's crucial to remember, each of these assets has its own specific drivers, its own tech underpinning its performance.
Good point. Now, beyond the big names, we're seeing some pretty significant percentage gains in other areas. Shiba Inu is up 3.20%.
Still going.
Pepe has surged by 6.25%. Bonk is up 4.04%, Dog of Hat has increased 4.37%, and Popcat is up 3.98%. What's behind this continued fervor for some of these more speculative coins?
What's fascinating here is the persistent interest in the meme coin sector, isn't it? These
Right.
kind of rapid gains often stem from, well, strong community support, social media trends.
The hype cycle.
It's exactly, the hype cycle. It can create significant upward pressure, though it's often short-lived. But it's vital for anyone looking at these to understand the inherent volatility and risks involved. These gains can vanish just as quickly.
Definitely a reminder that it's not always about the fundamentals in crypto.
Okay, moving on to some news making waves.
Mhm.
A report indicated crypto wagers generated over $81 billion in gaming revenue in 2024.
Wow, 81 billion.
Yeah, despite some legal hurdles, that's a staggering figure. What does that tell us about the intersection of these two industries, gaming and crypto?
That $81 billion figure isn't just impressive, it signals, I think, a fundamental shift in how people engage with gaming. It suggests a real appetite for incorporating digital assets into virtual worlds, into gaming economies.
So more integration coming.
Potentially, yeah.
Mhm.
As legal frameworks maybe adapt, we could see even greater integration, maybe new economic models emerging within these digital spaces. It's a huge area to watch.
Absolutely. Another major headline was gold hitting a new all-time high at $3,390. This naturally sparks the question, could Bitcoin be next? Right, the digital gold comparison.
What are some of the key factors that might influence Bitcoin's ability to reach a new AFEF?
Well, gold performance often reflects investor sentiment towards, safe haven assets, concerns about inflation. Bitcoin is sometimes seen that way too, but its price is influenced by a wider range of factors.
Like what?
Things like adoption rates, tech advancements, regulatory news. For Bitcoin to break its previous high, we'd likely need to see continued institutional adoption, maybe some positive regulatory signals, and just sustained market enthusiasm. It's not just about inflation hedging.
Got it. We also had Plan B, the creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model,
Oh, yeah.
offering some rather strong criticism of Ethereum, called it a pre-mined shitcoin.
Oof, strong words.
It highlights those ongoing debates, doesn't it? The differing ideologies within the crypto community.
Absolutely. This kind of rhetoric underscores the passionate beliefs different factions hold about, the fundamental value and origins of various blockchains. The pre-mined criticism against ETH often relates to its initial token distribution.
Right, compared to Bitcoin's mining start.
Exactly. It's a point of contention for some Bitcoin proponents, though Ethereum has its own strong arguments about its utility and ongoing development. It's just a good reminder the crypto world is diverse and often very opinionated.
Definitely. Okay, on the DeFi front, the founder of Synthetics urged stakers to act as their SUSD stablecoin faced a depeg. Can you explain why a stablecoin depegging is significant? What does it mean for DeFi?
Okay, so a stablecoin like SUSD aims to maintain a stable value, usually pegged 1-to-1 with something like the US dollar. When it depegs, it loses that stable value.
Mm.
That can create significant instability within DeFi.
How so?
Well, it erodes trust in the stablecoin itself, obviously, but it can also have ripple effects across lending protocols, other DeFi apps that rely on its stability.
Mm.
If your collateral suddenly isn't worth what you thought, it requires swift action, community intervention to try and restore that peg. It's a serious issue.
Right, underscores the risks. We also saw some positive news for HYPE, its price reportedly tracking towards $20. Bullish pattern suggesting a comeback.
Yeah, I saw that.
It really shows the rapid, sometimes unpredictable nature of price movements, especially for smaller cap coins.
Indeed. And while those potential surges can be exciting, it's crucial for people to remember the inherent volatility. Technical indicators like bullish patterns can suggest potential upward movement, but they are definitely not guarantees. Thorough research is always recommended.
Wise words. Finally, in our trending news roundup, the Ethereum Foundation's new co-executive responded to Vitalik Buterin's proposal about potentially replacing the EVM, the Ethereum Virtual Machine.
Yes, with RASCV.
Exactly, RASCV for better scalability. This points to some potentially significant future tech shifts for Ethereum.
For sure. The EVM is basically the engine powering smart contracts on Ethereum. Exploring RASCV, which is a different kind of open source computer architecture, it's driven by the desire to enhance Ethereum's scalability and efficiency.
Through faster transactions, lower costs.
Potentially, yeah. Allowing it to process more transactions at a lower cost in the long run. It's a significant area of ongoing R&D for them.
Okay, so we've touched on market movers, tech overhauls. Looking at the bigger picture, what were some other key takeaways from the week? We saw reports about Strategy adding more Bitcoin,
Yeah, MicroStrategy, though, here it says Strategy, they keep buying.
Kraken expanding its services beyond crypto, and the SEC dropping a case.
Right. These offer broader context. Institutional accumulation, like with Strategy or MicroStrategy, suggests that continuing belief in Bitcoin's long-term value. Kraken expanding indicates growing infrastructure, more accessibility.
And the SEC.
Well, any positive regulatory developments, like the SEC dropping a case, I think it was the CyberKongs one mentioned, can often be seen as a positive sign for overall market sentiment. Less regulatory fear, maybe?
On a more concerning note, though, there was that report. Many Bitcoin businesses in El Salvador are quietly disappearing.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
What does this tell us about real-world adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender?
It's a crucial real-world case study, isn't it? It highlights the complexities of adopting Bitcoin nationally. The reported challenges in El Salvador could stem from various factors: infrastructure limits, volatility concerns, maybe just a lack of widespread user uptake.
So, not as smooth as hoped.
It underscores that while the idea is groundbreaking, the practical implementation faces significant hurdles. It's not easy.
We also came across some interesting opinion pieces. One discussing blockchain's potential to address bias in financial AI.
Interesting angle.
And another suggesting blockchain could be vital for preserving creativity in an AI-driven world. These are some thought-provoking ideas about the broader implications.
They really are. These perspectives highlight blockchain's potential beyond just crypto. Its core properties, transparency, immutability, decentralized ownership, could offer solutions to challenges in other evolving fields like AI, especially around issues like fairness, intellectual property.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, turning to some of the buzz around potential future performers. There's speculation about Solana, Lightchain AI, XRP, maybe seeing new highs in May.
The May prediction.
And even talk of XYZverse possibly mirroring Dogecoin's early success. Seems like there's never a shortage of predictions.
No kidding. It's important, though, approach these kinds of predictions with a healthy dose of skepticism. Technical analysis, market sentiment, they offer some insights, sure, but the crypto market is notoriously volatile, influenced by so many unpredictable factors.
Good point. We also saw some expert picks for coins that could potentially be millionaire makers like Cardano, Pepe, Shiba Inu, Lightchain AI.
The usual suspects and some new ones.
And it's interesting, data suggests a significant portion of Dogecoin holders are in it for the long haul. Plus, there's this pattern being observed in Pepe's price action that historically preceded a surge in Dogecoin.
Oh, that's a curious connection. These observations definitely reflect the speculative nature of the market. The long-term holding sentiment for Dogecoin, any historical price pattern similarities.
Yeah.
They're interesting to note, absolutely. But past performance is never, ever a guarantee of future results, especially in such a dynamic environment like crypto.
Always the key disclaimer. And finally, on market outlook, there's that ongoing debate. Are we on the verge of another crypto winter, or is the significant Bitcoin rebound coming?
Yeah, the jury's still very much out on that one. Market sentiment is pretty divided, reflecting the inherent uncertainty and volatility. Macro indicators, regulatory news, adoption trends, they'll all likely play a big role in figuring out the next major market phase.
Shifting gears slightly, we also noted the decline of Pi Network and a corresponding surge of interest in something called the Yeti Aro presale.
Right, seems investors are constantly seeking out that next potential opportunity in this space. It moves fast.
It really does.
This highlights the rapid pace of innovation, the often shifting focus of investor attention. Newer projects can generate significant hype, but it's crucial, again, for individuals to do thorough due diligence, understand the risks before jumping into pre-sales or investing in emerging platforms.
And it's always interesting to hear where those who've seen big wins are placing their bets. Apparently, some early investors who made, substantial gains with Shiba Inu.
The SEI millionaires.
Exactly. They're now eyeing another meme coin for a potential 100x return. The pursuit of those high-yield opportunities seems relentless.
It definitely reflects that high-risk, high-reward mentality, especially prevalent in the meme coin market. While the potential for huge returns exists, you have to remember these assets are often driven purely by speculation and community sentiment. Makes them inherently volatile, carry substantial risk of loss.
We also heard about historical trends suggesting XRP might still have potential to create millionaires despite recent price dips, and that SE whales are showing interest in newer viral cryptos.
The whale watching continues.
Plus, there's apparently a new, very low-priced crypto like 007 seeing increased investment as some of those SHIB millionaires accumulate it. Gives you a sense of where some larger players might be positioning themselves.
Tracking the activities of large holders, these whales, can provide some insight into market sentiment, potential trends. But, it's not always a reliable indicator for the broader market. Individual investors should always do their own independent research and make informed decisions based on that.
Absolutely. Okay, circling back to some key crypto news we touched on earlier, the impressive crypto gaming revenue figures.
The $81 billion, yeah.
Gold hitting its APA, and those strong opinions being voiced about different blockchain technologies like the Plan B comments, these remain important narratives shaping the space.
Definitely. These recurring themes underscore some of the fundamental trends and ongoing debates central to understanding the current state of the crypto ecosystem.
We also noted the return of weekly inflows to Bitcoin ETFs, despite potential changes at the Fed. That suggests a degree of resilience in institutional demand for Bitcoin, right?
The continued inflows are indeed a positive indicator, yeah. Suggests institutional investors remain interested in getting exposure to Bitcoin, even with macroeconomic uncertainty swirling around.
And Bitcoin miner HIVE Digital saw its shares jump after completing a new mining site. That's positive for the network infrastructure.
Absolutely. That highlights ongoing investment and expansion in the mining sector, which is crucial for maintaining the security and function of the Bitcoin blockchain itself.
Then there was the Bybit CEO providing an update on funds from a recent hack, noting a significant portion remains untraceable.
Yeah. A stark reminder, unfortunately.
Of the security risks still present in the space.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of robust security measures for individuals and platforms alike, and the ongoing challenges of recovering stolen funds in this decentralized environment.
Meanwhile, Metaplanet continues to accumulate Bitcoin, added another chunk, bringing their total close to 5,000 BTC.
That demonstrates a strong corporate belief in Bitcoin's long-term value, doesn't it?
It seems so.
Metaplanet's consistent accumulation reflects that growing trend of public companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, signaling a belief in its potential as a store of value.
Also, Ethereum's NFT platform Zora is set to launch its own token soon. Could have interesting implications for the NFT marketplace.
It could, yeah. The launch of a native token for Zora might incentivize more participation on the platform. It could potentially reshape NFT dynamics by introducing new utility, new governance mechanisms. Something to watch.
And the president of CoinFund voiced criticism of the Bank for International Settlements strategy on, quote, crypto containment.
BIS.
highlights those ongoing tensions between traditional finance and the crypto industry.
For sure. It reflects the differing perspectives, the different regulatory approaches traditional financial bodies are taking towards crypto. It's a debate that just continues to evolve as the space matures.
Samson Moe also shared his view that Ethereum, Solana, XRP are overvalued compared to Bitcoin's supply.
That's a classic Bitcoin maximalist perspective, emphasizing Bitcoin's scarcity and first-mover advantage.
Right, suggesting the valuations of other layer ones should be considered in that context.
Exactly. It's one viewpoint out there.
On the price analysis front, speculation that Pepe's price could see an increase due to falling exchange supply and increased whale accumulation.
Ties into our earlier chat. That interplay between exchange supply and whale buying can influence price, especially for coins with strong communities and speculative interests like Pepe.
We're also seeing the significant surge in prices of AI-related tokens, FE2, AIC, Render, WLD, TAI.
Yeah, the AI narrative is hot right now.
Indicates a growing convergence and investor interest in that intersection of AI and blockchain tech.
Definitely. The rapid growth in AI token valuations reflects the excitement and investment in projects leveraging blockchain for AI applications. It's a trend gaining significant momentum.
And get this, Charles Schwab's CEO reported a massive 400% surge in client interest in crypto.
Wow, 400%.
Yeah, and hinted at possibly offering direct spot trading on their platform soon. That feels like a strong indicator of growing mainstream adoption.
That is a significant development. Suggests traditional finance giants are really recognizing the demand for crypto from their clients. Could lead to much greater accessibility, more integration with mainstream finance. Big news if it happens.
Then you have the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad making a bold prediction. Bitcoin could reach $1 million by 2035.
Huh, okay. That's certainly a long-term bullish outlook. Highly speculative projection, of course.
Of course. But interestingly, while some sectors boom, NFT sales have reportedly seen a plunge, and sales of CryptoPunks significantly fallen.
Yeah, it seems different segments are experiencing varying trends.
So not everything is going up.
Not at all. This divergence in performance NFTs versus DeFi versus AI tokens highlights the evolving nature of investor interest, the cyclical trends within the broader ecosystem. The NFT market has definitely cooled off from its highs.
There's also talk of a bullish pennant forming for Bitcoin amidst geopolitical tensions, though overall Bitcoin's trading has been relatively range-bound, volatility dropping.
Right, suggests the market might be kind of waiting for a clearer direction. Technical patterns like pennants can suggest potential breakouts, but they aren't definitive signals. Need to consider the broader context.
We've also seen interesting moves in smaller alts. Voxies and Broccoli surging while Dogecoin slumped. And the top coins to watch this week apparently include Mantra, Memecoin, and Pi Network.
These rapid shifts in the altcoin market just underscore its highly dynamic, often speculative nature. Trends emerge and disappear really quickly.
Finally, we noted surges in Aleo and GMT as Ethereum's price recovered. But Tron's price has stalled despite a big increase in its transaction fees.
Interesting divergence there.
And in terms of funding, Crypto VC saw Ardane secure a substantial $153 million investment.
Good to see VC money still flowing in for infrastructure plays. These final points just illustrate the diverse factors influencing crypto performance, network activity, tech developments, market sentiment, VC interest. It's a complex mix.
Well, that wraps up our informative deep dive into the latest from the crypto world. We've covered quite a bit, significant price movements, key news, insightful analyses to keep you up to speed.
It's definitely been another week filled with notable events and, evolving narratives in the cryptocurrency space. Never a dull moment.
That's for sure. Join Daily Crypto for real-time market updates.